All right, thank you for tuning into the first episode of PhiloPhilosophy. We have a lot that we want to talk about today. But first, thank you to Sincere, the network radio show localized with Quasi, Robert Running, Tony Jones, To Be Deleted, Squeaky Door Productions, Down South Podcast, Year 10, and Ladita Hot for following us. This is our first PhiloPhilosophy show where we talk everything, and I mean everything. It's going to get down and diggity. We're going to hear all the crap. So... wrong intro. Let's hit this crap running. We have a lot that we want to talk about involving politics, space, everything you want to hear if you're holding a
time paradox.
If you're holding a blunt. And maybe if you're not, it's not a big deal. You ready, ladies and gentlemen? Buckle up, bitches. Here we go. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So this is our first PhiloPhilosophy podcast.
Talked about it for a while, but we finally just, screw it, let's do it now.
And what a sign of the times when a murder in Boston gets life in prison. Who knows what he'll actually get convicted of for a weapon of mass destruction. Meanwhile, a president uses a bunch of weapons and kills 300,000 people in the Middle East and gets a presidential library out of it. George W.
Hey, as long
the
as
man himself.
Hey, as long as the oil money's coming through, no one cares.
Well, and it's weird when, so there was some worst company in America thing. Oh, did you see that? EA wins twice in a row.
Did you see their CEO's response?
And I agree though, because
I mean it's true. They are kind of money whores and stuff, but comparing them to the other companies that have caused environmental damage, such as BP and just all those other companies, losing to Halliburton. How does this happen?
Halliburton is of all of the serious topics in the world. Dick Cheney, when you're talking about gangster, mafia crap, he is the new mafia. He was the new mafia. 9/11. I know this sounds real, we're trying to be super serious.
But no, this is our honest theories. I mean...
So, do you remember 9/11? Okay, so on 9/11, and no one ever hears about this.
Oh, the one that's just about money
disappearing? Yeah, so I love talking about this one, just because it's so crazy. It's the best heist you can ever get. One sec, let me tell this story. So, on 9/11, now I don't know the exact details, you can look it up, and I'm just kind of talking off my ass. But, on 9/11, in the Pentagon, I don't know exactly what sector it is, suddenly, the day before 9/11, $1 billion some odd dollars, maybe 250 million, but let's just say $1 billion because it sounds better.
Disappeared off the books.
Disappeared. Goodbye.
No one knows what happens.
What the fuck? No, it's just gone? It's just gone. And then that very sector where all the paperwork was for the $1 billion that went missing on 9/11 gets hit by the plane. Jesus Christ. And talk about mafia heist crap. Oh. If you can take lessons from anybody, you take it from Dick Cheney, straight from the dick.
Seriously, my favorite part of this entire scenario...
Because he's a dick.
Invading Iraq and just thrashing it, and then giving all unlimited military contracts to a company you used to run and still own stock in.
Yeah, so...
How is this not illegal?
Halliburton, makes some... he makes a good amount of money.
Oh, yeah, he's a former CEO. He benefits from this.
And you're not telling me, so a company that gets money from fixing crap that gets blown up, the former CEO goes and blows crap up. He is a bad motherfucker. He is a yeah. No, that isn't. It's not.
Anyway, but
he's bad as hell.
I don't even know how people don't wake up and see this happening. $1 billion disappears, and no one talks about it because you focus on a terrorist attack. But still, $1 billion has disappeared from the military's budget, and no one raises a question mark over that. That's outrageous to me. If we really cared, we would have brought these guys in a decade ago.
I have two theories on why. Starting with, so it's so easy when it's a corporation, just for shit to just disappear.
And I know I hate to say this, but seriously, this rings of a military-industrial complex. It's like, I hate saying that because I say...
Yeah, well, no crap, it involves the military.
No, like the
they
military...
blew the crap out of Iraq.
And I hate saying
of course,
that
it involves the
I sound
military.
Like conspiracy theorist, but it's so true. It is a military-industrial complex in which they benefit from war, in which they earn... They make money off of war. How did... It's incomprehensible.
Yeah, I know. And so my second theory was, as long as Americans have TV, beer, cigarettes,
and oil,
and entertainment, any kind of entertainment, oil...
gas in their car.
You could turn us upside down, light a dildo on fire, and shove it up our ass, and we wouldn't care.
Let's look at
in fact, some of us would think it's kinky and like it.
Well, let's look at the Carter administration, too. And remember that? He went through a hostage crisis, didn't end his career, but the second gas prices went up $1, everyone was up in arms, protesting every last policy that he ever enforced, and it was just chaotic because people care more about themselves and less about what's going around them.
It's a tricky situation to talk about, especially right now when the whole Benghazi thing's going on. And I read an article on it was Reddit, so it's a credible source. I mean, good God, it's credible. But I read on Reddit how there's been 8 or 9 Benghazis when George Bush was elected. Not a peep. They brought RPGs and shot the living crap out of multiple.
In East Africa.
Multiple bases, not bases. Was it bases? What are they called? Emissaries. Embassies. Multiple embassies with RPGs. Boom. Kablamo.
This happened throughout.
Pecker has entered the house. It's Pecker. Come on over. The hell's he? He's all nervous. Come on in. We're inviting Peck Dick. Yeah, let's readjust the mic. We have a third member here. Now, obviously, I don't know. We're kind of in the middle of something talking about Benghazi, but you're.
See, that's what drives me crazy. Seriously, how many people have come forward and they tell how the administration covered it up, and I believe it is a legitimate cover up. It was during an election year. Why not cover it up? I mean, you can always face the music later, and when you burn most of the paperwork.
Yeah, well, let's cut the bullshit here. Do you want in, or are you just gonna tweet? Adam doesn't want in for some reason. Well, feel free to join in if you want at some point.
The part that drives me...
No one can hear you, by the way. Too far away from... Anyways.
See that? And plus the whole part how Clinton comes forward and takes responsibility. No. You're hired by the president to do a job. Ultimately, it's the president's duty to make sure you're following through that job. Ultimately, responsibility falls upon you no matter what. If you're not willing to take responsibility for that, I don't even...
For what? You actually kind of lost me.
For Benghazi.
Wait, Bill Clinton?
No.
You mean Hillary?
Hillary. I'd never
said okay.
Bill.
Oh, sorry, my bad. I was thinking Clinton, and I was thinking Bill.
It's just outrageous to me to comprehend this, that she would come forward and take responsibility initially during an election year, and then afterwards she can come back and say, and claim plausible deniability.
Well, here's the problem. Religion makes everybody goddamn crazy, and that's just a fact.
It's just one of those issues.
Living in
right or wrong.
Well, living in Utah as we do, everywhere you can look, there's a Book of Mormon shoved up somebody's asshole, and they're trying to shove it up everyone else's.
And they offer a plate of Jello with every serving.
A plate of Jello. I don't think anyone gets that reference, but you and me, because we live in Utah.
That's a Mormon reference right there.
No, yeah, but regardless, the more I'm around Mormonism, it's like, how do super, like my dad, he is so smart. Probably one of the not the smartest guy I know, but he's really, really smart. And he believes one day he is going to become a god, have multiple wives, create a world. That is what Mormonism teaches, and I don't understand how anyone who can just think for more than 10 seconds outside the box will think that they'll someday become polygamist gods floating in the sky creating worlds.
Well, it's better to think of that than an endless nothingness, but still...
I would rather...
Would you rather lie to yourself and or imagine that there's a mystical world out there.
I lie to myself 70% of what's going to happen. I know for a fact that before we were born, it was blackness, and that's probably what it'll be. And in fact, I forgot who said this, but they made a good point. Like, when computers, die, like when they get old, like those old Apple Macs that are just like sitting in the garage that are huge, like they don't have a heaven. Like, if robots, and this is a really off the wall theory. No, hang on. If monkeys became way smarter than they are now, and we secluded them, and would they come up with Christianity if we just kind of observed them? If they didn't, they're full of shit. Like, every Christian's full of shit. If they become sentient to the point where they are as smart as a human, and they don't get contact from God, and they don't get Christian contact, then your religion's bullcrap. It has to. And here's another thing that I was gonna say. What was it? Fuck. The prophets of old in the Bible. Okay, now, I'm not trying to Bible bash, by the way, you guys. Honestly, if you're Christian, some of the best people. I've met so many good, nice Christians, and I feel bad, so I really don't want to bash. But this is more about Thomas S. Monson, the prophet of the LDS Church. So get ready for this.
We are going to more bash.
Old prophets were hung they were crucified upside down. Peter walked out onto a sea, he has balls with faith to walk out onto a writhing sea with huge waves. And if you took Thomas Monson, blindfolded him, and told him to walk out into I-15 with his faith, just like Peter walked on a storm of water, Thomas Monson wouldn't, because he's full of shit. Well, that's why. And he doesn't believe, and he's not the prophet of God, and he wouldn't walk out to prove that.
And that's how I'm starting to think that this is how all organized religions are. It's because all they do is they ask for money so you can earn penance from God himself. Now, back in the old days, that wasn't necessarily true. You honestly gave your money to your local community, and you knew exactly where it's going. Now we live in a global religious world where you're giving money to your church. Do you know where it's going? No one knows where it's going.
Well, the interesting thing about the Creek Center up in Salt Lake City was my tithe. I probably helped build some of that. My tithing money that I spent. 10% if you guys don't know, Mormons spend 10% of their entire income they give it to the church. And back in the day, they gave everything to the church, but they kind of quit that. And and paid clergy doesn't happen, obviously. But anyways, they took all tithing, and they built the City Creek Center, which is a huge shopping mall. And Thomas Monson broke the ground. Let's go shopping! He says that on YouTube. And a prophet of God opening a mall with tithing.
It was for the temple. They built it near the temple so people would want to be Mormon.
Oh my God!
How American?
That's a great disguise.
No, seriously, how American is that? Selling religion with commercialism, that's hand in hand. You might as well throw an apple pie in there.
You have to buy your temple undergarments. Oh man, we were just bashing Mormons. I feel bad.
I mean, it's
but I don't. It's the truth. It is the truth. That's what it's the truth. I want truth. That's what I want.
The truth is, you can honestly insert any major organized religion, and you can kind of make the same assumptions. I mean,
and I don't care if you're Christian. I really don't. I don't care.
It's when you try to just throw it in our face and tell us we're going to hell. That's when that bothers me.
Or even behind closed doors, it's kind of weird. We knew the truth. We backed away from the truth. We are going to outer darkness via Mormon philosophy and religion.
Hell forever.
Yeah, so we're going down into the depths just because we turned away. And that kind of ticks me off that they think that. That's what sucks.
No salvation there. Wow.
Yeah, and it's just, it's so sad.
And the thing is, if there is a God, do you think he would honestly deny anyone a chance in heaven just because of few doubts? I mean, he gave us if he does exist, he gave us a brain. He obviously wanted us to think and have original thoughts. Obviously, wouldn't be the whole question is whether you exist or not be the most important thought he could give us?
I get where you're going, but here's what religion does. And you'll hear if you go to Utah, you'll notice everyone is nice. Everyone's great, right? Everyone's just the best, right?
But
Utah
judgmental.
Utah has the highest per capita use of pharmaceutical drug abuse, the highest per capita pornography Google searches.
Free.
Yeah,
because we're cheap like that.
Yeah, and I'm not saying I'm not guilty. I'm definitely guilty. But I mean,
just the fact that you try to
the highest suicide rate in the nation.
You know,
everything. That's the highest.
You also know we have one of the highest teen pregnancy rates.
Oh yeah, because that's the whole point of Mormonism, is to get an eternal family sealed to you.
Oh yeah, especially
sealed to you.
Learning about contraception in school is immoral.
Did you know? Yeah, there's two okay, don't prove. You can prove me on this. I could be completely wrong. I heard that there's at least one apostle who sealed to more than one woman in the temple, and because here's how: if your wife dies, you are sealed to her for all eternity. If you get remarried and sealed to her in the temple, you're still sealed to two women. So you will die in Mormon theology, and you will have two eternal heavenly mother wives. And one of our apostles does. At least one. Two, I've heard. One, probably for sure, and I'm not entirely sure.
I believe that. I mean, I've always wondered about that loophole, too. Like, because I imagine, like, when your wife does die and you do get remarried, it's not like you're unseal that woman, you're out.
Yeah, it's just so good. Sorry, this is more like a Mormon episode, but it's just what we know. It's what we know. And so the endowment ceremony where you learn, it's hard to talk about because it's really offensive to most Mormons, just like to blow this out there, but in order to live with your eternal wife, whatever, you have to you learn her God name in the temple, your actual God name. And when you die, you are resurrected, but your wife is not, and you have to call her forth. Weird, man. You have to call her using her name. She's not. She'll be a servant. She'll be a servant to the people of the celestial kingdom. Yeah, that's how it works. First, yeah, and you won't understand any of this. It's crazy. Being born into anything like this is crazy. Same with Catholicism, being Islam, all that stuff. It's crazy, man. And people with that's crazier. It's crazier. But here's the enemy. People who say they have the answers to anything. People who say they have the answers, they are the ones you have to run away from as fast as possible.
Especially when they have their hands out and asking for
tithing.
Help for their cause.
Well, I mean, I can understand that, but past a certain point, when the LDS Catholicism rakes in billions a month,
they're offering money for salvation. Like, what is more evil than that? The only way
there's nothing more evil. You can't get into heaven without paying your tithing, and that's a fact. You can't. You can't go through the temple. You can't receive your endowments. You can't receive celestial marriage.
Essentially, what they're saying is, as a member, you're stealing from the church for not donating.
God. Jesus. Start taking the Lord's name in vain while we're at it.
Well, I'm starting to see the
sorry, Lord. Yeah, in your basement, your mom's basement, where you jerk off 24/7. I mean, wait, you're the chronic masturbator.
Oh yeah, you are.
He's the huffer. You're the chronic masturbator, and I'm the Scody picker-upper halfies.
Twitch.
I'm the Twitch. I'm the Twitch. But it's just...
How did we evolve under religion? We were talking about Iraq and just transitioned right in there.
Because Iraq, we were talking about Muslims for a teeny bit. Like real short. Because
we mentioned
religion... Yeah, religion caused that whole ordeal. Yeah, if it was... Well, per se...
I'd say more American imperialism kind of caused that.
Imperialism?
Are you kidding me?
Oh, yeah. Actually, that's true. For a second, I was like, what? Then I understood.
Like Star Wars crap?
Yeah.
We're talking about Star Wars. With the US donation.
Honestly, if they played that song, it wouldn't be any less creepy. Like, I mean, it's basically what's happening sometimes when they just march in and blow up your citizens with drones. If the Darth Vader theme song started playing, it wouldn't make a difference. In fact, it would just add to it. It'd be crazy. I've seen some crazy drone videos. And those things are coming, dude. Those things are coming to us soon, and it's going to be crazy when drones are flying over.
Was it Rand Paul who questioned Obama in the Senate?
No, he questioned McCain. And he said, can drones be used to kill American citizens? Remember?
I thought he was asking Obama about it.
No, it was McCain.
Are you sure?
Yeah, he asked McCain, and McCain said, if they are deemed a threat to the United States of America. We can kill them.
Wow, isn't that just taking
So,
a giant
yeah, I
dump
mean-
on the Constitution? I mean,
Well, yeah, why not? Because here's the thing.
When do you
Here's the
trust-
thing. I mean, I don't trust drones, obviously, but I don't trust policemen who use handguns to shoot murderers that much either. So, like, if they, using a drone versus a police officer who's killing a murderer, I get where they're coming from. It sounds good, but you can't give them that power.
The second we say that,
The second we say that,
someone's a terrorist, that's do we just throw all civil liberties out the window?
yep.
No, it doesn't make sense because that's a slippery slope. Who is to deem that simply someone in a school shooting up a school? How is he not a terrorist?
And you can't.
Because he didn't use a bomb? Because he's not Muslim? No, there's a clear line, and we're crossing it by simply charging terrorists. No, not even charging them, holding them indefinitely.
Well, here's where they're screwing
Fall
us.
under that
Have
classification.
you read those stories where like kids are just like holding their hands up and going pew pew pew, and
Oh,
they
yeah.
get suspended?
That's retarded.
Like what a sign of the times,
I heard
man.
a joke the other day
Like,
mentioning how
when-
the entire state of Florida expelled their students because the state looked like a gun.
Like I literally when I was a kid, I think I made one for you, Adam. I made like a little hanger bow and arrow thing. I don't know, in 5th grade, I don't know if you remember, but I used to make these and give them to kids. I used to make a bow and arrow out of a hanger with string, and I'd bring little arrows, and we'd shoot them around the playground.
So he
Do that today. I dare
you.
ya.
Charged as an arms dealer.
Yeah, I know, as like a 4-year-old. For some reason, you're a 4-year-old at school.
Because apparently,
Happens.
4-year-olds know don't shoot people with bow and arrows.
They'd definitely be listening to this.
Yeah, you better be kids.
Yeah.
Mommy, let's listen to PhiloPhilosophy.
Fuck you. That's what I'd say if my kid asked that. Fuck you. I bitch slap him. My own son for asking something so retarded.
I would let my kids listen to this.
Yeah, or F4.
That'd be awesome.
My old
This
podcast.
would be what
In 20 years, these will be crazy.
Oh, dude, we're gonna look back on these and just say, how much weed did you smoke?
We didn't. No, that's the whole thing. It's crazy. It's like we're completely sober, and I'm not even
Dude,
lying.
I can just tell I'm gonna look back at this when I finally sell out.
In what?
I have feeling I'm gonna
As a
sell out.
whore
Nah,
on the
just,
street?
just standards like moral.
I'm boosting the
Well,
economy.
Tanner
I'll be like-
officially can't be a part of any government type position
Oh yeah, because I can't
These-
lie.
with these
Oh.
podcasts.
Oh, just search your. Except for you can't search your name. We haven't tagged you. I used to, and then I removed them.
The Lord.
It's all good though.
Yeah.
I know how to get through this.
Yeah.
I can
All we have to do is just send them to lawyers and all
The
those.
thing is, why would I even want to be a politician? I can't lie.
Oh, well, you can try.
Politicians never
Dude, you think
lie.
they're great liars? People are just dumb. That's why.
Oh, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that's what he's
You're
saying.
saying you can't lie, like you suck at lying.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought you were like saying some honest. You can't lie.
I can't
Oh.
It's not like politicians don't lie.
Oh yeah, that's a
Yeah,
lie.
and they're not even
Oh, yeah.
good at
They were invading
it.
Iraq because of chemical weapons. There's none here.
Like, let's ask Adam. So, Adam, and it's fine. Me and Tanner are kind of weird, as in like we're really up to date with most things that are happening. But Adam is kind of typifying, how everyone really is a normal person.
He's our average Joe.
Why did Iraq start other than 9/11? Like, what was the main reason to go in there? Be sure to lean into the mic because we're kind of far. Like, because like it wasn't completely about 9/11.
So yeah, what was Iraq about?
It's not a big deal if you don't know.
No,
it's fine.
perfectly fine.
So the whole thing was to get into Iraq was saying that they had was it weapons of mass destruction or chemical war?
Chemical weapons are weapons of mass destruction.
Okay, either or.
Here's the thing.
Pencils
they
are
did
mass
have
destructions.
few back in the 90s when we sold it to them to fight the Iranians. That was under Reagan. We sold them.
These were awesome
Yeah,
like
'cause
that.
I'm pretty sure there's a picture of Rumsfeld shaking hands with.
There
Saddam
is. There's a
Hussein.
picture of them soaking. Yeah, they're soaking. Ugh. That'd be the Rule 34 of that. No, they were shaking hands like a doctor, just shaking hands.
And I mean, yeah, and you can come back 10, 20 years later and say, now he's.
Oh, now he's the bad guy, right?
Yeah.
You didn't just sell him weapons
Exactly, since-
because you didn't trust
Since
him.
the U.S. doesn't support
Oh.
terrorism ever. Afghanistan.
Yeah, and then, I don't, and again, I don't know anything, man. We're literally in a basement talking about a bunch of bullcrap, but that's just how normal men our age, boys, whatever we are, men our age think about shit. We are. We're close.
2 out of 3.
1 out of 3.
Big-ass 12-year-old.
2 out of 3. Me and Adam. I think you guys should box over who's the best man.
It always comes to that, no matter what.
Because then it always stalemates, and no one ever wins.
Well, because we only have one pair of boxing gloves.
Yeah, we don't even have that anymore. We lost it.
Oh, yeah.
You probably were jerking off in the glove.
Probably. I put my hand in.
Oh, God, Tanner. Tanner.
Oh, wow.
I mean, it's a big enough. Actually, heck, no, you need something smaller. God, what was I thinking? I was about to say.
You can get the fuck right out.
You can get the fuck right out. You heard me. Nah, I don't know. Well, we're getting close to the end of this thing. It was a good discussion.
I know. Whole lot of.
It was a little crazy, and again, if you don't know much about Mormonism, it probably didn't mean very much to you. But it's interesting, and things are changing. It's crazy that we live in the time we do, when so much is going
Especially
on.
since we're spirit generals.
We were the most valiant in the pre-existence. It's yeah. Tanner's. Oh my gato. He is freaking talking about all this. Tanner's going on a mission in 2 years.
Only out of force for a college degree.
Have fun in Africa.
Oh, not even.
You're going to Ghana, I know that.
Ghana.
No, I'm not teaching the Ghanaians. It's squash.
You get gonorrhea. Is that where it comes from?
You already have it.
They're called Ghanesians. I think they're called Ghanesians, actually. Ghanaians.
Well, they will be afraid of your STDs. And that is saying something.
Introducing the blue waffle to Africa.
Yeah. Tanner.
The funny thing is, he didn't get these from people.
He got it from the dog. Every episode. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to the first episode of PhiloPhilosophy. Thanks to all our new followers, and if you listen to the end of this stuff, that'd be awesome if you left a message saying something about Powerade. Gatorade. Powerade. Yeah, leave Powerade in your message if you want to, and it's not a big deal. And in fact, I'm not expecting you to. We get more live viewers than we do freaking post plays. So, regardless, if you feel so inclined, please post Powerade.
Oh, yeah, and also comment any messages you want us to talk about, anything along those lines.
We're down for questions but I don't think this is a big question comment
I'm just
site.
saying if they want to hear our
I get you.
It's never gonna happen.
It probably won't.
No, it won't.
Well, that was awesome. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. So we're out of here. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you for tuning in to Radio Ranch. If you think I'm a woman, you might want to check your pants.